As Europe recovers from the twin disasters of disease and constant war, that population starts to grow back up. Europe starts to stabilize once more, and the biggest example of this is going to be in Spain. Between 711 and 1492, North African Muslims called the Moors are going to control Spain. Right? The most famous Moor, at least in the literature, is Othello. So if you've ever read Othello, the character Othello is a Moor. So they're controlling Spain. And it's the result of the rise of Islam in the 600-700s, and then it just spreads like wildfire across North Africa and even into Europe, right? So the question is, what is Spain going to do? Now, European Spain, what I mean by is Christian Spain, is divided. It's divided particularly between two rival families. You have you got the House of Aragon, you got the House of Castile, right? And the question is, how do you basically unite these two royal families together in order to say, get together and fight off the non-European, non-Christian peoples in Spain? Well, a marriage. So in 1469, there's going to be a marriage between the heir apparents of these two realms, Ferdinand and Isabella. Ferdinand of Aragon, Isabella of Castile and Leon. And the two marry. Now, very soon after they get married, they inherit their respective thrones. Thus, you start to see a European/Christian Spain start to get unified under one ruling family. Now, Ferdinand and Isabella are going to inherit a major campaign known as the Reconquista, the reconquering, basically trying to kick out the Moors and from Spain and from the entirety of the Iberian Peninsula. Because remember, Portugal has this Moorish domination as well. So by 1492, though, the Reconquista is done. And the result, of course, is going to be is that the last Moor is going to be kicked out of Spain. The last major Muslim stronghold in Spain, last major Muslim stronghold in Spain, sorry about that, is going to be Granada. And Granada finally falls in 1492, thus ending any sort of Moorish influence in Spain. Well, at least on the more immediate sense of the word. I mean, look at Spanish cuisine. Listen to Spanish art. Spanish music. Look at Spanish architecture, and you could definitely see a Moorish/Arabian type of influence. But nevertheless, the Moors are out, and now, 1492 for most Americans, that's going to be that year reminds them of something, right? That's when that crazy guy, Christopher Columbus, comes by. What did he do? Oh, yeah, he went over across and discovered America. The thing about Columbus is this. Nobody back then believed that the world was flat and that he was the only guy that thought that the world was round. There's no, even the ancient Greeks, to an astonishing degree of accuracy, figured out the world was round, right, in terms of its circumference. So Christopher Columbus wasn't one of these guys, don't worry, the world is round, and you're being wrong when it says that it's flat. No. Columbus and everybody else that's educated knew the world was a sphere. What Columbus differed, though, was in the size of the world. He believed that the Earth was smaller, and he believed that instead of going east to war, in order to get into the Chinese Indian markets, overland, or this long, complicated journey around Africa and into the Indian Ocean, rather than going that way, which is dangerous and takes a long time, you should go west. And hit the other side, go around the world the other way, and hit China on the other side. Now, Columbus is wrong for two reasons. Number one, he says the world is smaller. He thinks that he's going to sail all the way to China from Spain, going west, in 30 days, right? And so he's wrong on that regard, mainly because of the fact that it's not going to take 30 days to get to China from Spain going west, right? He's also wrong, of course, because of the fact that he does not know that there's a gigantic continent right in the middle, right? So crossing over the Atlantic, ironically, or should I say coincidentally, takes about 30 days. So it confirms Columbus in his mind that he was right? So and to his dying day, when he goes and finds these new lands, to his dying day, he thinks it's Asia. He doesn't even realize he's in a completely different part of the world, right? That's why we have, when we talk about Native Americans, sometimes we use the word Indians, because Columbus coined the term. He thought these people were actually Indians, not Native Americans, and that you just keep on going and you're going to figure it out. And you're going to be on the coast of India in no time. Columbus never did. He, in fact, the discoverer of America, never even stepped foot on North or South America. He basically stayed in the Caribbean. And you can't blame the guy. I mean, he's in freaking paradise, right? But nevertheless, he actually never got into North, Central, or South America. But he went to his death convinced he actually was in Asia, not in America. Now, there's going to be other Spanish explorers, and we're going to talk about them later, that do push into the other areas of the Americas. And we're going to see some really interesting and sometimes controversial people starting to show up and looking around North and South America.